I'm very curious about the relationship between you and Angel White.
I'd say we're friendly. Make videos sometimes, you know.
The ayahuasca trip. What triggered you to want to do that? How'd that go?
It was probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. It's like 5 hours each day of you just exploring all your deepest, darkest traumas.
Why'd you quit?
Oh, wait, are we rolling right now? Did I just get finessed?
Got his ass. Well,
are we rolling?
You're rolling.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome back to Jot. No, I'm just kidding. But so why did I quit? It was like a mixture of like I got like fucking railed by all this work from Super Bonsai, which was like a good thing. Obviously, Super Bonsai was popping off. And then I don't know, like it was like so many things like in my mental health that was like building up where I was like kind of becoming very, I guess like ego driven, where like I didn't like the pressures of social media is like so much like opinions on you, your opinions, and you're doing that to yourself, right? I'm putting it out there. But then like reading all of it, I was getting very caught up in like reading every comment, taking everything personally, which was like, I was like getting better at, but then it started to get worse.
Really?
And yeah, and then so I was just like, I need this break for my mental health. I need this break to lock in on this huge opportunity I have with Super Bonsai. And yeah, and then I did that shit and it was amazing, honestly. It was exactly what I needed. And then I had some other traumatic experiences that happened mid-break that made me like take a longer break, basically. But
so this was it was a temporary break at the time.
Yeah. I'm back now. The first episode with me back just dropped.
Oh, he's back now.
This Friday. Yep.
All right, we'll check out that episode. What's the episode title? He's back.
Weren't you back last week?
Fuck yeah, it was back. I was back Friday. But what the fuck was the episode title?
Hollywood and kids.
Oh yeah. Keep your kids away from Hollywood because of the
good
quiet
title.
on set type shit that dropped. Yeah.
We just had Nick Hamilton on. We talked about that too because
yeah.
he was the bully in it. And he had a lot.
Did they touch him?
No. Actually, that's the. He said nothing happened.
Touched him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yo,
cut that.
Yo, we're joking.
That's my boy. That's my friend.
We're kidding.
Nick, I'll touch you as a grown man.
Good guy.
Not as a boy.
Right. Good call. Good call. Good save. But I'm actually very curious, right? So Joe, little backstory here. Joe's been working with you pre-TikTok, right? He's seen it all. So he saw, and I only know this because I'm your boy, he saw what happened after your first viral video, right? So to explain the story high level, you go viral. I remember you said that you were pretty on, you were on some like caffeine or drinking or whatever you were drinking. And you see this video go, wow, you don't know how to handle it, right? Yeah. So you start having almost like an anxiety attack.
Yep.
Talk me through, Joe. Have you seen him change as a creator, or has he always been sort of like this, I have to be doing so many different things at once?
The man always been spread thin like some peanut butter jelly.
Since day one.
Yeah, he's always been doing everything. He's always doing something.
Yeah.
Like even then, that day was like, he tells me no, but I remember he was like, we got to go deliver this fucking, the tins he made came in. He's like, we got to go deliver this to my boy in Brooklyn. I got to bring it to him right now. The man's having a panic attack in my car. Like, it's like...
Oh, full blown.
Full blown.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, what'd you do? You made the Dalgona and then you just kept drinking it and
was
making
the fucking,
it.
you know that whipped coffee trend, the Dalgona coffee? So that was the video that like blew me up. And that shit is so high caffeine. And I'm a coffee drinker, right? So I was already on my regular dosage of caffeine. Then I drink this whole cocktail because it was delicious. And
pause. Wait, what brought you up took you out too? That's why you were fucked up because of the drink you made on the video?
I was having a legit anxiety attack and I'd never get those really. So I'm like fucking there like hyperventilating. I had to smoke weed to calm down. Like it was crazy.
I don't even think the weed calmed you down.
It did. It worked. I was literally, my heart felt like it was going to pop out my chest.
Who the fuck fed you weed? Him?
Yeah, who else feeds me weed?
I was like, yo, relax, bro. You're having a panic attack. Take some.
No, I begged him for it. I was like, you need to go get the weed, Joe. Roll this up right now. And
you were like, how long did it last?
I don't know. Like smoking fixed it immediately. Like where it was like, I was definitely like still racing, but like it was just like now I was like, I can breathe.
What triggered it? What triggered it?
The fucking seeing the views. Like I'm refreshing this thing. I'm like 100,000 views. 200,000 views every refresh, and I'm like, whoa! And then I'm seeing the followers, right, just pop it like 80K overnight, and then I'm like going in my DMs, and I'm like, holy shit, there's hella girls in here. This is crazy,
crazy dramatic, like 0 to 100.
Yeah, literally, like one video, just everything changed. That was now my new reality. And when I think back to that moment, like literally everything before that moment was like working towards something with no idea if it would work or not.
Yeah.
And now like 4 years later, it's just like, this is my reality every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so it hit you hard, I'm assuming, because like you're a deep thinker, right? So immediately you started thinking about the future and this is what's going to happen now. And like like I didn't even think twice. I was like, oh, that's a cool video. Like that's doing well. I guess I'm gonna try it again. And oh shit, it did well again. But you're like, what can I do next from this opportunity? Now, did you try to like help him through these sort of things? Just be like, hey, look, let's just take it easy.
I gave him some weed, yeah. No, but mind you, we were doing this for like, what was it, a year and a half or whatever it was?
It was about, I'd say a little longer than a year. We were doing it pretty unsuccessfully. So
like, you know, just like, let's do it. Like, no, there's no planning because, you know, you plan, you don't do it. So we're doing it with like, you know, you're driving somewhere, but you don't know where you're driving.
Right, good call.
But then he fucking put these bar tins in the passenger seat and like, I got to move them.
Yep.
So then he had to figure out how to move them. So like it was just like like the not a finish line, but it was like a checkpoint. Like
okay, so you use these bar tins as like fuck. Now we have to make good content.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like I've always been about the bag, you know, because I grew up poor. So I was like, how the fuck do I get a real bag? You know what I'm saying? Like I would see like people that are just filthy rich. I'm like, you're a dumbass. How are you rich and I'm broke? So I'm like, that shit used to piss me off. And then, so I was always about like, all right, I have to get rich. I have to get rich. I can't really go to college. I can't like afford, I don't have financial aid, can't take a loan. So I'm like, need to do this entrepreneurship shit. And then I learned about Amazon FBA through my boy that did it. And I was like, bro, this guy sits at home and it just prints money because he like set up the work beforehand.
Who was your boy?
My boy Aftab. Shout out Aftab if you ever see this.
Shout him out.
Yeah, but yeah, so he inspired that, and then I've always been like if I try to make everything perfect, like I'll never do it because what do I know? I'm fucking like 23 or 22 at the time, don't know shit about business. I'm like, let me just. Okay, well, where do I buy these tins? Alibaba? I'm like, boom, done, bought it, paid you. Now we're going to figure out how to like make these tins the best possible.
Yeah.
But you have my money. So I'm like, now I gave you my money. I must make this happen.
Right.
Then I make the tools
and
happen.
Mind you, this is all his money. Into the
Hey, speaking to the mic, you gabagool.
All his savings.
Damn.
And not only savings, he's like, I put all my savings in Bitcoin and I saw this opportunity. I cashed out the Bitcoin at the high or like close to the high and said bartends.
What?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the high. I bought 2 Bitcoins when it was 4K. And because I just put my life savings into Bitcoin. I'm watching Bitcoin go from 1K to 4K in like a month. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like 20 years old. I've never invested a day in my life. But I'm like, but I know that equals more money. So I just bought 2 of them. And then I watched it go to 30K a piece. And I'm like, this shit just gonna go up forever. And then it crashed all the way down to like 11K. Yeah. And that's when I needed the money to start bar chemistry. So I sold those at 11.
That's a wild story. Now, why did you, were you guys just best friends at the time? Why did you take him as your business partner?
I wouldn't call him a business partner.
Well, that's what I was in the beginning.
Yeah, he was
what happened?
for the content stuff. The tools, like, not really a partner because he was broke. He didn't have no money to put into that shit. But it was, so Joe is just my best friend because Joe's like there are people that move through life with like genuine kindness with no ulterior motives behind their eyes at all, and he's one of them.
I'm like a dog.
Yeah, and it was just very obvious to me. This is a good kid, and I remember. I think it was like one of our jobs where I'm like waiting tables and he was our busboy and he was like telling me of his like fucking like identity crisis and I just gave him like some fucking motivational speech, got him riled up. I'm like, bro, if you want to chase your dreams, you're fucking young, do that shit now. Like, and then he's like, you right, Wootak, you changing my life right now. I love you, man. And then this is a Friday night at a busy ass restaurant, right? I come over, I'm like, Joe, I need that table bus. He's like, I'll quit, Wootak. I did what you said. I'm like,
yeah, that's so funny.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just told Michael. He's very upset. I'm like, Michael's our GM, who's like an extremely flamboyant, sassy gay man that was very aggressive and mean. So then I'm like, what the fuck, Joe? I'm like, I meant quit, like put in your 2 weeks. I'm like, you're our only bus boy. It's Friday.
Took your advice. I'm out.
Yeah, and then everyone was tight on me that day because they're like, you fucking made our bus boy quit.
Yo,
the manager's coming over like, I don't know what you said to him. I mean, you stupid bitch. You're gonna fucking. He was like roasting the shit out of me, and I was just so mad at fucking Joe all day long.
That is so funny. I didn't realize that. You took his advice though, man.
Yeah, I mean,
He took my advice on the spot.
We worked in a restaurant. I was taking notes on the checkbook.
Yo, and then he said, I'm out.
I still got the check that I wrote all the notes on.
That's so crazy to me.
Well, that's how we met. So for the people that don't know, this is our sound guy, Joe. Say hi. Wave.
Hi.
He used to be working with Wootak. Wootak, aka Bar Chemistry, millions and millions of followers. Over 3 million total across the platforms.
Total, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Expands the brand, starts Super Bonsai, but not before moving to LA. So moves to LA. This guy's sort of out of a job. I'm in desperate need of a sound guy. We link up. I knew he did a great job because I met him through you. Same thing. I knew he was a genuine dude, was just looking to help in the beginning, saw where we needed some assistance, and hopped right in. So I pretty much stole your man's.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a good one to steal. I'm not going to blame you for stealing him.
I've had a blast with him.
I've been trying to, every time I call him, I'm like, when you moving out to LA, man?
Never. He never moved. You're coming back here. That's what I heard.
Eventually.
Well, let me ask you. So you make the transition to LA. Was it everything you imagined? Like, talk me through the first month.
It is definitely. So my car got stolen the second I arrived in LA. So I was just like, that's fucking LA, baby. But
Wait, hold the fuck on. The whole car?
yeah, the whole shit. And it was like, thank God I like moved in first and got all my shit out the car. But we did a road trip across country. So I took all my valuables, like my computer and shit, in the car. Then we get to LA and, you know, I unload, like I'm barely unpacked, but there's like a party happening. I show up to this party for dead ass 20 minutes because it was just like a whack party. Walk outside, car is gone. And I'm like, I thought it got towed. So I'm calling every tow pound. No one has it. And I'm like, there's no way that somebody just stole my car because there's like no broken glass anywhere or anything. And then it turns out it was stolen.
Yep.
How'd they get in?
Huh?
How'd they get in?
Apparently Hyundais are easy to fucking steal. Like literally, I like learned later, like Hyundais are a target car to steal because they're, I guess, like they're pickable or some shit.
Yeah.
I just lowered my country's GDP just now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, you can't
No,
be
you guys are getting better.
disrespecting.
You're getting better though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hyundais
better.
are on the up.
Yeah.
All right, well, aside from the 2 days in getting your car stolen, how's everything else for the first month?
Amazing. Fucking LA, in the beginning, LA was like literally, it was like fucking, what's that show? Entourage?
Yeah.
Bro, that's what that shit felt like. It was fucking, just like you're out there. LA is a city that's meant for influencers, right? It's meant for the entertainment industry, like the best parties, the most fun shit to do. It is genuinely gatekept by followers. They're like, what's your Instagram handle?
Stop.
It's like the party full invite will be like, name, who invited you, Instagram handle. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then that's how you get accepted to certain parties. Obviously, if you know somebody, they can just accept you. So like you can just know people and get into shit too. But like it's like genuine that shit is currency out there. So like for me, as in somebody who's built that already and then moved there, LA was just a super fun city. Like everywhere I went, people would be very accommodating and it was just hella fun. Yeah.
The fact that you just said that there's parties that look at your Instagram handle first to verify if you can get into this party.
And then I started, and then like, you know, it sounds dystopian, but like once I became a brand that throws parties, I do the same shit. I'm paying lots of money to throw a brand party. The people I want there that'll provide me the value in return for throwing this expensive party is followers, right? I want you posting my product on your story. I want you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of why these parties happen for the most part.
Right.
Some of them are just kind of like for no reason. They kind of want to just see like who you are. You know what I mean? Like I put that there also because like you want to just like look at who you're accepting to the party.
Yeah, I mean, like, but like you said, there is a value to them being there, right?
Exactly.
Like, let's keep it real. You post a story versus if Joe Schmo posts, not you, Joe.
That
Joe
Joe
Schmo
right
posts a
there.
story. It's not even close to the same value for your brand, which, by the way, is super bonsai. We didn't talk about. As of right now, anti-hangover pills. I take them I said every time I drink,
Yes,
and
sir.
it has changed my life. I don't mean to get emotional here, but I don't drink without the shit. And I hand it to everybody that walks in my apartment because of how good it makes me feel.
Yeah.
But I know you guys are expanding into a couple different things. And this is why you left, quote unquote, UTI. So this is your baby right now.
Yes, this is my everything. So I'm one of the 3 founders of Super Bonsai. The goal is to make a holistic health and wellness company. Like as I'm Asian, right? So I grew up taking a lot of like traditional Eastern medicines growing up, and they very much do feel like superpowers sometimes. Like taking ginseng. Ginseng is such like a supernatural herb as well. So it's like all these things that are so powerful, and I know exactly what it's going to do to me when I encounter it. Feels like when I encounter a superpower in a video game. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we're modeling all our products after. The next one is a liver detox tincture, obviously, because for my personal life, drinking is a big part of it. So I need to do everything I can to take care of my body parts. You know?
You're like gamifying life,
Exactly.
elixirs and potions, and
Exactly.
bringing people back to like a time where they just play video games all day.
Exactly. I was a
love
RuneScape
that.
addict, so it's starting to manifest in my businesses.
He goes, bring it back. Motherfucker, I'm about to go play tonight. No, that's okay. So that's the positive side of your life. Let's go back to the treacherous negative side, the toxic.
Wait, hold on. Link the liver tincture. Is it before or after drinking?
Liver tincture?
Yeah,
No,
what
that's
is
a
that?
daily
It's not out
supplement.
yet.
That's a daily.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's not out yet though.
It's not out yet.
Yeah.
It will. By the time this comes out, it probably will be. It's dropping any week now, like in the next
Oh.
week or so. Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys. Can they follow anything? What do they follow, real quick?
Super Bonsai Health, Bar Chemistry. Any one of those pages, you will be updated on what's going on.
All right. Well, there you go. Back to the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
LA, having a blast, all these parties. You're meeting some notable figures. I noticed there's specific women
Oh yeah.
that are in your videos more often than not.
Okay.
Some of which have some pretty popular names. Angela Way, I think, is in. How'd you come across?
My friend Jimmy Zhang introduced me to.
Nah,
to
that dude.
Angela.
Hold on, I'd have never met him. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Shout out Jimmy, love you, Jimmy. But Jimmy, I'd say two people that really helped my LA experience is Jeremy Kim at Nectar and Jimmy Zhang, because those two, basically everyone I know was introduced to me by these two, both my co-founders from Jeremy. Every one of my influencer friends, basically in some way, shape, or form, I met through Jimmy, and it was just like they've been very, very, I guess, crucial to my development out there. So love you guys.
There you go.
But yeah, he introduced me to Angela.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Continue with what?
How'd it go?
It went well. We became friends right away. We were, we. What are you trying to do, man?
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're asking me. You're like, you want me to just start yapping? Like,
I want you to,
yeah.
I'm very curious about the relation between you and Angela White.
I don't know. I'd say we're friendly. We're close. Make videos sometimes, you know.
Oh,
Not those type of videos.
Good.
Just they're on TikTok and Instagram.
Sure.
Yeah.
so just friends.
Yeah. Just friends.
Just cordial.
friends.
Every time I mention you, this man's like, Angela White.
I'm just so infatuated by like the people.
Yeah. You want me to
meet
fucking
out there.
call her for you? You
Call
want
her,
to meet
put
her?
on FaceTime right now.
Really? Let's see if she'll answer.
Nah, that's hilarious.
I want to see it. I'm gonna be like, hey, I've got a big fan that wants to meet you.
Nah. Pause. Don't be playing me like that.
All right, let's
I'm just
go.
more intrigued by because again, the whole UTI thing,
Uh-huh.
for better or for worse, blew up because you guys had on some of these questionable figures. Where do you even meet? Are they like more? I hate to say them, isn't like they're not humans. Are they like readily available around there? Like, is that like a thing?
I'd say LA is just full of people in all types of entertainment, right? So Violet was a good friend of Jimmy's, who was our very first episode that just fucking blew up because Violet is very famous and very popular for what she does. And then later we meet Angela, or I meet Angela, get her on the podcast. Her episode also does well. They're like in our top 10 episodes, you know? But yeah, I'd say like the podcast started really blowing up when we brought on like Vit and Esther, obviously, and we had that like host dynamic. But yeah.
So, because we talked about this off camera, was it hard? You blew up because of these two figures, and then you kind of went down that path, and you knew it wasn't the path you wanted to go down. Was that transition hard out of that space?
No, not really. I think in a certain way, it did inflate certain like subscriber numbers, right? Because like you get a 700K video on YouTube that like translates 10,000 subscribers, let's say, right?
sure.
But they're following because they're thinking you're going to interview porn stars.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, we're talking about like God and Christianity and like things like that. And me being like, yeah, I regret being a slut. And then like everyone that was like following for those reasons are like, fuck these guys. They're lame. They don't align with what I was following for.
Right.
So then that's like, but it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I would rather like, especially like the podcast specifically is so based on like kind of like all of our growths as people, the hosts, that like, if I lose you as a follower because you no longer align with me, that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah,
Right,
life.
and you're okay with that.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine.
I like that. So you didn't really put too much weight on, oh man, our followers or our subscribers are expecting one thing.
Oh no,
I can only
well,
be down that path.
I was working there. Yeah, we did. It was like no more.
Yeah, it was more like the opposite. It was like we definitely in the beginning, because the clips would go so viral, it was like very much focused on like make the clips go viral, and the most viral clips was like the most degenerate topics.
Right.
And then but yeah, after a while it's like I don't give a fuck if the clips go viral. I'm like what started to like matter was like people DMing me and being like, hey, like you said this one thing this episode that like completely changed my perspective on how I thought about this issue. And I'm like, damn, that's cool as fuck, right? Like and I'm like, I would like more of that. And also like the ayahuasca journey that me and Jeremy went on definitely put like the fear of God in us in some of those degenerate topics where we were like, damn, maybe I should stop talking about that. Because I'm definitely influencing people to want to be like myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm constantly talking about like, you know, degenerate things, they're going to be influenced to do degenerate things. And if these degenerate things don't even make me happy, and I'm talking about them, like I don't want to lead people down that path and then feel that responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, you breezed over it, the ayahuasca trip. What triggered you to want to do that? How'd that go? Give us the juicy details.
So I have always been a bit of like a psychonaut. Like I like to explore the psychedelic regions of my brain.
Definitely not a little bit.
Definitely not a little bit. Yeah, I guess I like to enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing that. And then so for me, like I knew about ayahuasca and I knew like how much more intense it was. And Jeremy had been multiple times already when I met him.
I'm sorry, just for everybody else, and I don't know, what is ayahuasca?
So ayahuasca is a high-level psychedelic drug that contains DMT. It must be administered through like an indigenous ceremony. So it's like it grows in South America, tropical climates like Hawaii, and then it's like a vine. And
root. It's the root of the vine.
Yep.
And they just make it into a tea.
And they brew it into like a drink, basically. That is like a DMT trip. If you smoke it, you'll like, if you break through, you'll like go to another dimension for 15 minutes. This is like a multi-hour trip that you do 2 days in a row. Yeah. So like the ceremonies are usually 2 days long. And it's like 5 hours each day of you just exploring all your deepest, darkest traumas through like high level psychedelic. So like most people find God during this shit. Heroin addicts go and come out not a heroin addict anymore. Yeah. Like people like really like fucking successful CEOs and businessmen use this to like develop supernatural emotional intelligence, right? So I've always known of like the uses for it. And I was like, I kind of want to experience it. And I went with Jeremy. And I knew at the time, right? Like I had recently taken a heroic dosage of mushrooms and bro, this guy came, I wasn't answering him while I was on this heroic dosage, and he came and he was like trying to knock my door down. He's like, Wootak, you okay? And I'm like, no. Yeah. And I was just like, so I had done the heroic dosage, so I had an ego death before. So I was like, oh, how bad can ayahuasca be? I show up and bro, that shit humbled me. It was probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And then at the same time, it just fucking like overnight made me do like a complete 180 with my life. It didn't really last. Like that's the thing. That's why I won't really go back. Like I think it taught me a lot of things, but it's not like a lasting change really. Like there's this Carl Jung quote that's like, be wary of unearned wisdom. Yep. And it was in response to being asked about psychedelics.
I like that.
Because it is unearned wisdom. Like you're learning so much all at once about yourself that it doesn't really stick, because it's like, and then you get this ego about it that like, oh, I learned all these things, like blah, blah, blah. And then it's like almost like counterproductive. Like when you're on psychedelics, you like lose all ego, but then afterwards, just the thought that I'm like, oh, I'm so egoless starts to evolve into like more ego.
You're better than.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know more than you because I can look at this without ego. And that's kind of the vibe I get from a lot of people that do psychedelics a lot, which refers back to that quote.
Why do you think people that experience ayahuasca find God?
Well, for me, I believe God is real, obviously, right? I think that the world is too perfect. Everything that's been created is just, everything has a rhyme and reason. Like there's no way that all this just exists by accident. Mm-hmm. And then, so however you find God, you'll find it. But then the supernatural shit that happens in ayahuasca kind of opens you up to the possibility of like, there's other dimensions. There's beings I can't comprehend. There's like things beyond like our reality that just exist that I've just like, most people need proof and evidence for things, right? And so like for the first time, if you're transported to a different dimension and you're looking at beings that are not human, but like intelligent and like made of things that like matter couldn't even describe to you, like it wasn't matter, you know what I mean? It was like my brain can only perceive it in so many ways. So it just appeared as like pulsating geometric shapes. So to explain to you, during like a moment of the ayahuasca trip, I'm like tripping balls, right? And then usually like the room melts into geometric patterns. But this time I closed my eyes and it was like a fucking like as my eyelids came down, it was like a new room also came down. So I'm in this like geometric temple. Everything's pulsating, like it's energy. Everything's made of energy, and the only way I can perceive it is through shapes. So it's like fucking crazy shapes just like pulsing everywhere. I can tell though, I also have depth perception. So I know that like the wall is like 40 feet that way and 40 feet that way, even though I was just in like a 15 by 15 log cabin. And then I can notice that like something's disrupting the geometric shapes. So it's like a being is moving and then the thing turns its head. And even though I can't tell, it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have like a face, I know it's looking at me because of the energy, it's just shifted towards me. So it's like all these things I'm perceiving, I've never felt in this dimensional plane. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is unreal. Like, this is not reality anymore. This thing starts approaching me. It's trying to communicate. I can tell it's trying to communicate. It's almost like it's like giving me things. And then I'm like, but I can't grab it because I don't have like the same dimensional tools as this thing does, you know? Like, it's like we are perceiving each other, but we're not existing in the same dimension. We're perceiving each other because of this gateway I opened in my brain, but we're not like physically able to interact, you know? I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, and then because it was like, it doesn't have the same rules of like morality in this realm, I guess. So I couldn't tell evil or good, just energy. And that scared me because like being a Christian, the Bible does talk about like other realms and other dimensions and stuff, right? Heaven is a different dimension. Hell is a different dimension, right? And it's like, what dimension was I in? Someplace in between? Like there are other beings. There's like multiple breeds of angels. There's multiple breeds of demons. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is the thing that I was encountering? Could be anything, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And then, and that shit scared me.
I mean,
he was calling his boys over. There was like, I was like interacting with 4 of them at once.
Here's what I forget who said it, but it was like nowhere.
This shit is crazy,
bro. It's so crazy, bro. My fault.
No. But like anything that you could like when you're in that state, anything you perceive as good, like the way the Bible describes demons is like they would never scare you. The way angels look are
scary.
You'd be terrified. You'd think it's a demon.
And when you see the way that angels are described in the Bible, and then you think of like the shapes that everything's in when you go to like one of these realms, it like lines up too.
Yeah.
So like the angels kind of look like pulsating eyeballs with wings, right? And it's like almost like
this is too much.
It's kind of like exactly how I imagine things to look like in these other dimensions where you can only perceive things as energy and shapes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, like that very much may be when people talk about in the Bible, like prophets meeting angels.
Yeah.
They're having like crazy DMT trips. And then being spoken to by an agent of God being like, you must bring this information to your people to bring humanity forward in this way. You know what I mean? And the demons are fallen angels, right? So they're beings, angels are beings of pure positive energy and demons are beings of negative energy. So like certain feelings, demonic possession, right? Sounds really like woo-woo, but there are times when I feel very almost possessed where like just filled with negativity. Like I look at my friends and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I feel animosity instead of love for them. And I'm just like, for some reason, everything I'm perceiving, I perceive it through a negative lens. Like it's almost like I'm possessed. Yeah. And it's like a negative energy that just, I can't move out of me yet for some reason. And that's what like trauma therapy's for, like all these things, right?
You should have seen this guy when he came. So what he took you went to do the ayahuasca and then 24 hours later, this man was here.
Yeah, I booked I had the flight booked already to come home, but yeah.
Bro, 1 a.m, he's like, come get me, Joe. I gotta tell you about this shit. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It's me, Eddie, his brother, him. We're sitting there. This is when we smoked a little bit of reefer, right? This man starts like trauma dumping.
Yeah.
I'm there a little high. This man's explaining everything. I'm like, I felt like I was going through a trip myself.
I feel it right now. Yeah. I feel like I just tripped.
Yeah.
I'd never tripped before in my life, but that sounds terrible, number one. Yeah. I don't know why anybody would ever want to do that. But number two, like, I would almost be pressed to like think, what if religion just started from a bunch of people taking these drugs and thinking these things, but the Bible and these other books never reference the start of it becoming or being like, I wonder how somebody sober thought of these things.
I think that the way that I think is that like God obviously has the power to speak to you in many ways.
Right. Yeah.
And so there are some like Christian historians that believe that certain biblical events happened due to psychedelic influence, like the burning bush of Moses. Like I forget what bush it was, but there's there's a bush that's high in levels of DMT. So that bush, God is like, Moses is here. He's like, I'm going to use this, man. Lights the bush on fire via lightning. Moses is tripping balls so that God can speak to him better and being like, hey, man, I'm God. You got to do these. You know what I'm saying? And there's like little things like that. But obviously God is God, right? Yeah. I can never with my human mind kind of comprehend what God is doing or why God is doing. But and I don't think that it's like religion started because of psychedelics. I think that psychedelics is a tool to access certain parts of your brain that
Yeah.
It's like the doorway to the spirit world, you know?
Right.
Could be dangerous though.
I was about to say,
If
like,
you're not in the right state of mind,
Extremely
you don't
dangerous.
have good
Definitely,
intent.
definitely a dangerous thing. I don't recommend it to random people, but
And you listen to Joe Rogan and the other guy,
Who?
Alex Jones.
yeah.
It's like, you know, like you could use DMT like this guy, take the T, really like figure out about yourself. Or he said, you know, they're just in a basement shooting up DMT, talking to aliens. Like, you're not talking to aliens, you could be talking to demons, you know?
yeah.
Right.
But
And-
also fucking, you know, what you were saying about why anyone would take it. So I was just explaining the crazy supernatural stuff. But what was beneficial about it was, bro, it was like they call her Mother Ayahuasca, right? Because it literally feels like a motherly energy, like a positive feminine energy that comes and like holds your hand and takes you through your traumas. Like traumas I didn't even know was there. Traumas that I buried so long ago and refused to face that it was like as if my life was on a YouTube video with timestamps. And it was like, click here, watching that shit play back. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then it's like, yeah. And it's like visualizing to me. Cause like, obviously being a child experiencing those things, I didn't understand what was happening to me, that it was like lifelong trauma being inflicted. But then watching it and Mother Ayahuasca was kind enough to visualize it as like literal like black sludge coming out of people's mouths into my ears, or like their actions like radiating black energy as in like evil, right? And then it's like I could visually see evil being done to my child self. And then I was like, then I just started crying, obviously, because I'm like, it's me, but I'm like watching this child get fucking traumatized and shit. I'm like, damn, that sucks. and then it's like playing my life later where I'm now doing something like bad or fucked up. And it's like, watch how that trauma has created this. And I'm like, fuck, that's why I was such a dickhead.
Yeah.
And then like later down the line, it's like, you think you've defeated it because you matured and you don't do those things anymore or whatever. But then it's like, watch this next evolution of it because you haven't truly defeated it. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck. And it's all me and my actions and things that I know I've done already. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Do you think it'll ever reveal something that's not true? Like pull up a memory that you thought you had but didn't really happen?
No, I don't think so. Because it's like, so even then, right, I had visions of the future where, so like that same YouTube playback, it would then take me past my life and show me like, if this trauma remains unhealed, this is what you look like 15 years from now. And I'm like, gross. I don't want to be doing those things 15 years from now.
Yeah.
And so then it was, and it's like, those are things that haven't happened that I'm watching, right? So it's like, it was showing me things, but not in like a misleading type of way, you know?
Okay, because you hear that a lot with like, when children open up about their trauma, almost every time the parents, and not that it's gaslighting, will say it wasn't that bad or that never happened. And I always wonder if like we create these memories for ourselves when in reality maybe it happened, but it wasn't. We fabricate them because we always take our past and make it the extreme, good or bad, right? The best moment of your life, if you reflect on it, you probably feel a lot better about it now than you did in the actual moment. That's just what we do. And then the same thing is probably true with the negative side.
I can agree to an extent. I think that what's more likely is that the parent, in that scenario, right, that the parent is not being very empathetic to what the child went through, you know? And it's like, if you can, like the thing about trauma is that it's like, it can be anything. Like, you know, they used to think that trauma was like PTSD, like war victims, that you needed like that level of trauma to be considered trauma. But now they're realizing like basically everyone has their own versions of trauma. Trauma is like emotional experiences that change you permanently, right?
Yeah.
And it's like some traumas you are so painful you immediately lock it away, don't address it. And that's even, I'm dealing with some of that right now where there was some things that happened to me that, because it was almost like I just needed to save myself, like fucking lock it away right away. And then later in life, like now that I've like met certain people like Victoria Song that we had on the podcast, and the way that she explained like how to like fix certain things about yourself, and it was all confronting childhood trauma. So I was like tracing back certain bad behaviors of mine that I'm like trying to fix. And then it's like, ding, right there, that memory that I locked away really long time ago that I never faced, never even told anyone. And I'm like, whoa, that probably is it. That's what's manifesting from me being this way. You know?
You want to tell us one of those right now?
No, I can't. Definitely not say that online. That shit is. I haven't even said it to people really. So.
I know. I'm just pushing your buttons.
He's just pushing your buttons, man. I would never done that.
That's why he brought Joe on.
We almost had him, bro. We almost had him.
He has a button. He's like, Joe, tell him.
Bro.
Say the thing. Say the thing.
To your point though, it's like one of my friends. He's got a lot of trauma, bro. Like this man got bags on bags, Louis bags of trauma. So he was like, you know, always remember that your parents are like they're doing better to you than their parents did to them.
Right.
So it's like, let's say your father beats you. His father probably beat the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, it gets less and less as it goes, or it gets worse depending on but normally if you have a good parent, it's less and less.
Well, I think they always say like there's always going to be an accumulation of trauma until it becomes too big where something really bad happens, like suicide or murder, like whatever it manifests into. But that stemmed from people just, like you said, ignoring, like your dad, if he provided some sort of childhood trauma to you, probably had his own childhood trauma that he never faced. Yep. He bottled it up, didn't realize what that was or what that feeling was, why he had so much anger or whatever it may be, unleashed it onto you, maybe made him feel better or worse, I don't know. And then now you're finally the one to say, hey, listen, it stops here. I'm not going to do that to my kid.
Exactly.
Let me let it out. Let me deal with this stuff. And my next question to you was, why do you think acknowledging this trauma helps you?
So what I think you said it right there, right? Like breaking the generational curses. If trauma is negative energy and negative energies are demons, then like passing generational trauma is literally like a family curse, right? Think of it like that. Like that. If you have a dad that beats you and you beat your son and then you beat your son, that abuse is like a literal curse upon your family. Like all the men are cursed to beat their children, right? One day there will be a hero that goes, I will do the work, the very hard work. A hero is born into the bloodline that's like, I will do the hard ass work to break my family from this curse.
Right.
And then it's literally like, so for me, I think my mom has done a lot of that as well. And then for me, it's like, I also want to make sure, because I think I was inflicted. It's like I accumulated new trauma that like most people in my bloodline have probably not dealt with yet. And then I got to just make sure that I don't let that manifest to my children. And the reason why I think it's so beneficial to learn about your trauma to fix it though is like, I don't know, it's like you can't really fix a problem you don't know the root cause of, right? So it's like if I am constantly, let's say anger, a lot of people deal with anger, right? I'm constantly snippy, I'm fucking angry at people. Why am I angry? And then you like look back, you don't really know. If you go to therapy, like that's kind of what they're doing, right? Is like they ask you questions about childhood. It's like, hey, I blew up on this random person in the parking lot today. Well, what did they say to you? Oh, like they call me a bitch and I ain't gonna let nobody call me a bitch. It's like, why does it bother you so much when people call you a bitch? And then when you trace it back, it's like he got beat up one time when he was like 5 and they called him a bitch. And that was so traumatic for his 5-year-old self that as a grown adult, whenever he hears bitch, it's like on site because he's like, now I'm a man. Now I'm a grown man. I can protect myself when I couldn't when I was a child. But I don't think you'll ever fix the part of you that's going to react like that unless you realize what I'm doing right now is trying to protect 5-year-old me.
That's I think the create is like the butterfly effect, right? Like it's when you say that, and I've never thought about this before. I remember when I was like not 5, maybe 10, and I had like my mom bought me a new shirt, my favorite shirt. Wore to school. Kid older than me comes up, I was like, that's a stupid ass shirt. That's ugly. And to this day, if somebody offends my outfit, I'm like, yo, fuck you.
Yeah, it offends you, OD, right?
That's got to be from him.
Bro, exactly that.
I was so happy about that shirt.
Yep.
And then you
probably went home and you're like, Mom, never buy me
shit again.
Fuck you,
yo,
Mom.
It's so like little moments that he walked by, I didn't think about ever. Could have impacted my life.
Even today, as a grown man, bro, you're successful, you're handsome, all these things, and yet it still fucking affects you. This comment he made when you were a child.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah, and the more that people get aware of that it's really that simple that causes all your worst negative traits, like the more that people can fix them. And I think that now, like, we're entering literally like a golden age of like fucking high vibrational human beings. I don't even know how to like describe it. Like the more that conversations like this happen, I feel like people realize like, oh, this is applicable to everyone I know. Like,
well, I was going to say, like, think about the opposite. So that's the negative side of things. Let's think about the opposite side. When you say one thing that maybe it was in passing, right? Like, oh, that's a nice shirt, dude. You walk away. That man could have been so upset that day, and you just made his entire week.
Exactly.
Now he walks around with a little bit of a different swagger because you like this shirt.
Don't get me
so
started.
like it's little things like that I always put myself out there to be like, you know what? I was blessed with a great life. I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that everybody else around me feels a little bit better because of me. Exactly. And I don't need the credit. I don't need you to walk around and tell me how good I am, but hopefully I impact your life in the right way because way too many people walk around with like this traumatic, this one person fucked me up for life.
Exactly. And they try to, I think the default is, this is a good example actually. So I was just hanging out with this girl who works at this nightclub in K-Town, and she was like, yeah, like she was just telling me like how the owners treat them, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. You know what I mean? But it's so stereotypically like shitty, angry Korean businessmen type shit. And she's like, their mentality is when they came to America and like started all this and like became successful, they went through so much like racism, bullshit, like all this, and they had to get it out the mud, but now they're rich and successful. And she's like, their mentality is like, I'm going to give you the same hardship.
Exactly.
Thinking it's a blessing. I'm like, you fucking hated it when you went through that. Yet you're inflicting it onto other people. And I say that's the meta. That's the default way of thinking is like people go around with this main character energy like, oh, life has been hard to me, so I'm going to be hard on life. You know, like no one ever was there for me, so I'm not going to fucking take shit from anyone. But the people that actually make the most difference in people's lives are the people that have gone through shit. And then they move through life with genuine kindness. And that genuine kindness, like you said, just one compliment from somebody oftentimes can make their day. But like real genuine kindness where people like do shit for no reason for you or really go out of their way to like actually help you. And you're like, where, you know what I mean? Like, damn, I can't sense ulterior motives from you. That changes people to like then pass that on as well, you know?
Sensing that's a good one because everybody's whenever anybody's a little bit too nice, you're like, why are you being so nice? Exactly. What do you want out of me? You know what I mean? But sometimes people are just genuine, and I think that is a generational thing where our parents' generation they seem a little more blunt with things because why are you so offended by everything I say? Mm-hmm. You were offended too. You just bottle it up. Exactly. You don't like when I say your hair looks like shit or I don't like your shirt. Yeah. You know what I mean? So why would you go and say that to somebody else? They're just not thinking. They don't have that. Wait, let me take a step back and just not say those certain things because it could affect them negatively.
Exactly. And that's why I'm very, as soft and sensitive and annoying as some of the younger generations can be. I do think like these it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, that saying.
It's actually impossible.
Yeah, it's literally fucking impossible.
Try to do it with an adult. You can't do it. But I mean, you talk to, like I talk to my dad about this all the time. And there's things where he's like, look, I don't care if you think it's a flaw or not. I'm not changing. I'm 58 years old. You're not going to change me. Yeah. And as a grown man, but also his son, you got to accept that fact too sometimes. You're going to do way more harm than good trying to fix your dad. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, take him for who he is. I think I treat everybody in life as a black and white picture. And if all you're doing is focusing on the black, that's all you'll see out of that person. You'll never see the positives. So if you start switching and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on everything I like about this guy. Yeah, maybe he's a dick once in a while, but who cares because he has all these different things on his pro side of the list.
Totally agree. Totally agree. That was a bar.
Thank you, man. Well, I just think it's so interesting that you transition, move to LA, then experience all this, I guess, revelation, I would call it. Is it because the people over there like triggered this out of you, or did you always want to experience something like this?
I think I was always like this. Even pre like clout, success, all that. Like I was fucking doing psychedelics, working on myself like all the time. Yeah, he knows. And then so like, I mean, before this shit started becoming real and I had like tangible evidence of like success, it was like very much like always trying to do something, better myself, read a book, like learn a new skill. What's the thing that I gotta like lock in on, And it was, I think that all started when I was like 20 and triggered from psychedelics actually.
What has LA showed you that New York City didn't?
LA people are more chill, I'd say. And like, not in like, that sounds so cliche, but it very much is. Like, example, like New Yorkers are super locked in and everyone's like fucking hustle, like go, get it, like fucking like kill each other type mentality. LA, like while there is like the clout demons and the fucking little gold digging ass sharks everywhere, but they there's also like there's such like big communities of people that are like doing ice baths every day and like fucking like going on ayahuasca and mushroom ceremonies and like doing all this inner work and like trying to like really heal themselves. New York feels like a fucking sparring grounds of like trying to like make it like a gladiator match, right? And then LA feels like the hospital, low key. Oh. In the right areas, It really depends like what part of like, LA or New York you lock into, but that was my experience.
I would assume, and again, I've only been to LA a couple times, but I would assume it's because of the culture of jobs, right? You work here, you're structured, you're locked in, you have a 9 to 5, it's corporate, but it's normally going to be something high paying because you're in this area and it's cutthroat. Whereas over there, how it feels to be this like striving to be something that you're just not yet. And so when you see the next guy come in, instead of approaching it with like this negative, you're not going to make it. You're like, dude, I know how much this sucks. Like, let me help you because we can help. It's not a zero-sum game out there. Whereas for whatever reason, we feel like it is over here.
I think that's my experience because I got lucky with the people I met. But when I see... Example, when I go to like influencer parties or I meet like fucking entertainment executives, slimy, bro. Like even
Really?
worse than over here in some ways. It's a gladiator match in a different way. Like, and that's why I was like, as I was saying that, I was like, that's just my experience. Like, I think LA is its own gladiator match in different ways too, and even worse because like people over here are chasing money, I guess, which can be evil. The only thing I think is more evil to chase than money is fame. Fame for the reason of fame is fucking evil. Like, I guess like evil sounds harsh, but it's like it's literally pride manifested, and they call pride the worst of the 7 deadly sins.
You want to be
right?
worshipped like you were a god, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to be worshipped. So it's like, even for me, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, this guy wants clout," and he's saying that. But it's like, for me, that was always a means to an end. My sin is greed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted the bag that bad that I was like, "Fuck, how do I market this shit?" All right, I've got certain assets. I don't got no bread. I don't got money to run ads, but I'm kind of funny. I'm like kind of cute, I guess. Like, so I guess I gotta be on camera, right? Like, I'm like, let me just throw everything at the wall, see if it sticks, and then it stuck. And, yeah.
Do you? Okay.
It's a slow realization, my boy. We were making some garbage.
Yeah, we were making some bad videos at the start.
Isn't that crazy though? Like you just kind of found what worked and you ran with it.
Yeah.
Who out of the people that you've met in LA, influencer, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, who surprised you the most about how genuine they were in person? Does anybody come to your mind?
I guess I would have to like know them a little bit. I'm gonna give it to Vit because like before I met Vit, who he was online and who he portrayed online was so
crazy.
Honestly, I didn't even like seeing his video because he was just fighting with people. I'm like, bro, and watching this dude who's like basically famous, right? Like fucking like spitting vile venom at people online. So then it was just like, obviously, if that's all that you portray about yourself, you think a certain way. And then I met him in person, and he was actually very like welcoming and chill and like all this. And then me and him got close, and then obviously getting to know somebody, understanding their traumas and all that, you're like, oh, I can see why you're like that. Obviously, it's not right, but like, what I mean? I start to understand him better, and and I think off the bat, he was somebody that even when I first met him before we were close, I was like, oh, you're not like the dickhead that I see on camera. Yeah.
Have you changed? Do you think since moving out to LA?
Oh, absolutely. How do you think I've changed?
Yeah,
as somebody who's known me.
Yeah.
Listen, this motherfucker has changed so many changes.
Yeah, I feel like I change every year though. Like, you know what I mean? Like because I'm always trying to be better, I guess. Like, it would suck if I never changed.
Yeah. We're at a very transitional, like we just talked about in the last podcast. 20 to 25 is when you just like don't know who you are. Right? You're so malleable. You're so influenced by people online, in person. That you're like, oh, next shiny thing in the sky. That's what I want. But now we kind of found ourselves, and it's like, all right, this is who we are. How do we become the best version of this person? And I think that's why from like even 26 to 27, 27 to 28, and so on, a year goes by and it feels like years as like transition goes.
Big facts.
I'd say you were when I first met you, 2016, right?
Yeah, I was like 21 when we first met. I think.
Motherfucker was in the cocoon, right? I think he broke out of the cocoon when
Speaking to the mic, buddy boy.
I'm trying to think, bro. I gotta look over there and see somewhere up there.
Yeah, think while you're talking into the mic.
You were in the cocoon. You went honestly a little down for a while. Okay, it was like we got a little rough.
What year? What year are we right now?
Listen, we were in a failing fucking project here. It was rough. Yeah. And then
I don't even want to call it down. I was just shooting I was in the mud. I was in the trenches doing whatever I had to do.
We were making fucking music videos. We don't sing and dance.
Yo, by the way, side note, this dude makes music, and he never told me until I'm listening to like some sort of house mix, and he's like, yo, you like house music? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're not gonna make a little bit of music.
Well,
like,
this is
put it on.
I
was like, all right, put it on. And he puts on his song, dude, and
listen. This is my number.
Because I was so blown away. I was so blown away. Oh, you're a hater.
Yeah, I'm a hater.
Well, I can't.
I'm like his dad being like, when are you gonna stop that music shit, get a job?
That's why I was the influencer. He's like, you know what, you're right. So I'm gonna change his life when he's a big time DJ. He's like, my dad told me I can't make music, and I'm gonna do it anyway because John told me I could.
John's like, bro, I'm standing right behind.
He's gonna quit his job. Like, you're right, John. I quit my job. I'm out. I'm making music now. I'm like, nah, you suck,
bro.
That's when he walks out of this podcast.
He's like, I knew it. I knew I had something. No, but I really found something in Joe. And I said to him that day, I think having self-conviction is very difficult. Everybody talks about having confidence in yourself and rah-rah online. It's almost impossible when the world is telling you the opposite. But if you have a group,
my world right there.
If you have 5 people, right? You have 5 different people telling you the same thing about yourself, you should believe it. Yeah. So if you can get 5 people to say, hey, you're good at that one thing, that should be enough conviction to go and do it.
This is the thing about Joe, right? Is that Joe, I've always been a big Joe supporter.
Of course.
I'm the number one Joe supporter all time. I was willing to put my money behind it, my time and energy behind it, right? And what I don't like to see is wasted potential, right? It's like, yes, he wants to make music. Yes, you're pretty good at it, right? But it's like, for me, Joe's personality is like the thing that's like the needle, the silver needle, the fucking whatever, the rare thing that he has, right? And he's like, oh, but I want to make computer noises.
Listen,
Wootak.
that is
Wait,
I'm
wait,
like, put down the fucking computer noises. Get on this camera and start cooking, boy.
that is the 5 people. You know, if I have to go off my analytics, that's the 5. You know, that's.
But I was
what
also
the
with
5
that. I
people
was
said,
with the food thing too. I think he was. I thought he was mad funny on his food stuff. But I'm gonna.
No, don't lie to me, bro. There's no Joe in that video. You know,
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
thing is that like
should be,
I
bro.
have to keep doing it.
Yeah, you gotta make.
You're funny, bro.
And bro, what am I doing with the bra camera looking this way?
Nah, you need to
know?
be in the. But
Yeah,
here's what
yeah.
I'm gonna come at what you said a little bit, because music, for example, right? Nowadays, especially house music,
Yeah.
you had AI making great songs, bangers. What stands out are the personalities of these. You want to watch John Selman, not because he's a fantastic DJ, but because he's great at, for whatever reason, people love his personality. That I think Joe has the. You can't put your finger on why.
You can
You're
put your finger on me.
right. You can't put your finger on why you like him so much, but he just has that
Exactly.
energy to him, and that's why I think bangers like this.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, get back in the kitchen, buddy.
I love this shit, so I'm a fan. But hey, listen, if you want to do the food stuff, I think you should.
Whatever you
stuff,
do,
yeah.
I need you to display your personality
I think so,
online
too.
and be a content creator.
I
Listen,
agree.
I'm a perfectionist, so the music thing is like, listen.
The perfectionist thing is a fucking cop out for being a bum.
That's true.
No. Listen, wait a minute. Listen, there's art, and when you truly want that to be the best representation of you, as Julian said, I fucking love when he said this. He's like, it's evergreen, right? If you're an artist, you should strive for evergreen content that'll survive past.
This is how you're talking right now.
Listen, so
That's the
music
sound guy.
for me.
you're the sound guy and you don't even know
The
I'm
amount of
talking
shit
to
he
a
talks
mic.
about me speaking.
But
That's
what I'm
what
saying.
I know about it. You don't, so don't worry about it.
That's what I'm saying. Put
okay.
your fucking headphones on.
So it's just, hey. But no, yeah. So I'd want the thing to outlive me, to like be beyond like, and that's very hard to be such a like to be a trend-setting musician is like you're not gonna get big fame. You're not gonna like to revolutionize. You're not gonna have big fame, big money, big nothing. But you stamp it.
Here's the thing, though. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
If you were gonna put out something terrible right
Yeah.
now, as in like, not I'm saying it's bad. I'm saying like
Yeah.
a bad like you were a dickhead. That's different.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
bad music, bad. You look at our first videos.
Yeah.
If you want to scroll all the way down, you'd be like,
Yeah.
yo, you'd almost have appreciation for the progress.
Not for you, but I had I want to ask this on the. Well, hold on. Yeah.
But
But
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like, even
100%.
so, I get it. You want your first video to be great. You want
Not
your
even.
first.
It's just it needs to be good enough to me. Like
Right.
that song would be good enough to me. No,
Good,
not,
I'm glad.
not that one. That
I
one
love
needs
that
work.
song.
The other one.
The first one is a
Yeah.
great song.
Yeah, that one
So I
would
said to him,
be-
he should make me music, and I'll be the face, and I'll sit in a boiler room, and everybody be dancing around me. He's be like corner like this.
Bro, that was me. Hey, that's my bitches.
And I'm like,
John's taking up 2 girls. He's like, wait, those are my bitches.
they're like remixing. I'm like, nah, just press play.
yeah,
So
no.
but that's a good point, man. You got to be proud of what you do.
But if it was like something that I would not be so crazy about, because like, motherfucker, when am I gonna be like a Michelin star chef? I don't have that dream.
You don't have
But I
to,
like
though.
to cook, so there I could be happy being like, I know shit wasn't the best, but like, you know, I made a video
cares?
and
Bro, it's about you got to put in the reps. Like you're
course, of
like
course.
I don't want to put shit out that I'm not proud of.
of course.
What the fuck you talking
No,
about?
not for the cooking. For the cooking, I don't give a fuck.
For fucking anything.
Music, I
you
can,
You
bro.
put in
That's
reps to get
you don't
better.
know how deep, bro. Every night in high school, I go to bed, I dream about the shit, bro.
Damn, bro. See,
That's
this is passion, man.
That's why I was like, listen, I tried
You
myself.
crushed his dream.
I seen the dream in him. Maybe it was a little more greedy than mine, but I was like,
Man.
I have to learn. So it's like if you do something for a while and you're not succeeding,
Yep.
you just be like, I seen him, I met him, bro. He told me some crazy shit, and then he comes to me, Joe, you want to start this shit with me, bro? I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it. At least if I'm not progressing with myself, I'll go with this guy, and I can see like, all right, this is a different avenue. If he succeeds, I've learned so much.
And you're
And
succeeding with it.
look at this. All these years, it's like maybe the music didn't pan out, but I'm doing audio for a bunch of different podcasts now, and that's
a
like
good point,
still
man.
aligned enough where I'm happy. Let's work some days. So some days you're not happy all the time, but overall, you look at it, I'm happy with what I do now.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know where or when you could start.
And I love this guy. This is my, I've always wanted an older sibling and stuff. You're not that much older than me, but he filled the gap.
Damn.
Yeah, and I love him.
I feel like you guys.
And then he also hit me when I had you lucky man.
What?
When I was broken down from my ex-girlfriend, bro, and this man showed me like a little light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, I'll follow you.
I was like, come over here, sweet boy.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to these bitches.
Oh, he helped you out. See?
Yeah, he taught me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was
Everybody
also
needs to
like,
play
when I saw Joe, I was like, this is like a little soft piece of Jello, like a fucking stick of butter, a melting stick of butter that just needs to be molded into something, And it was because he was like, he had all the classic like fucking, didn't know the direction of his life, destroyed by a toxic ex-girlfriend, like all these things that I'm like, you need. Like one like direction, number one, and purpose, but two, some fucking fun. Like your idea of fun is rotting away, smoking weed, fucking.
Hold on here. Let's just break it down to the most basics. You know what I'm saying? I came from. I should be more like this now, but like I came from being like I want to find one girl, blah blah blah. But then you just take whatever comes to you at that point. I saw this man. He was getting some. He was out there. And I was just like, you know what? What's the worst that happens? Everything fails. At least he taught me social skills.
Yo, you're funny as shit, bro. You talk to women especially very well.
Yeah, but you see, I went to all boys high school.
Yeah.
When I was the horniest, I was around dudes. So
That's
it's like
not good.
you don't know how to figure that out once you're put in front of a woman. You're like, oh man, what I would do to you.
Yeah, you say the most outlandish things because your boys are like hyping that up. Yeah. That's not good.
So really, we'd go on double dates. I'd just be taking notes like, how do I act normal?
I had to teach this guy how to talk to women.
How do I act normal?
He really helped you through life, huh?
Yeah.
This was my first
Project.
project.
It was a give and take.
Love this guy, and absolutely, and yeah, I don't want to take anything away from what Joe's done for me. Like he, what I mean, like you don't ever, especially at that age, right? We're like almost the same age. You don't keep someone around if you're not also learning from them. And what the thing I said about like moving through life with kindness and it like affects the way you move through life, right? Is like through my life, even all the people that have the best intentions for me quite often give me advice that's bad for me, like bad for my soul, right? Because like they're reflecting what they would do and they have their own fucked up shit that would make them make bad decisions. Yeah. But Joe has always been somebody that regardless of the situation, regardless of how hard I'm fighting to be like, no, this is, I want to do this shit. He's just like, no, Wootak, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting and like, he's always been the genuine guiding voice. Where down the line, like I'm a cocky motherfucker, so I'll be like, Joe, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And
every
then,
time,
every
fucking
time. And then a couple times, I'm right, but I don't want to fucking argue. Nine times out of 10, I am right. Say it. How many times have I had to son you and be like, what did I fucking tell you?
But about stupid shit most of the time.
No, it's not about stupid shit.
I'll be like valuable with an E, and he'll be like, all right.
He'll hit me with some wise.
About like his spelling, yeah. You're definitely right on that.
He'll hit me with some wise shit once in a while that manifests later in life.
Yeah, but that's what, bro, I'm like a bottle of wine with the advice. That shit manifests later.
Nah, but but like you just said, he has very pure intentions and he's genuine. When he says something and he may not speak much, but when he does, you're like, oh, you should listen. And that's the one thing about this. Like I'm learning how to become a better job allocator, and I want to let people shine where they believe they can shine. So I'm not going to be the one to combat you, even if I think I'm right. Number one, who the fuck am I? Yeah. I'd rather let you die on your own sword than me try to fight you and then play the game like I told you so. I don't need that for my own ego. I want you to feel confident in your decision, make the decision, be right, and then be confident the next time.
That's also something I have to learn, and I'm currently learning.
Oh boy, I learned that quick with you, baby boy.
Yeah.
Well, you take on a lot, man. You have a lot. You have a lot going on, and I feel like sometimes you're always looking for the next thing. Where like you could prioritize if you listed out your life's priorities on a piece of paper. Maybe there's 7 of them, right? Family, going to the gym, super recovery, super bonsai, bar chemistry, like whatever that list is. Nothing else matters. You know what I mean? And so stop trying to find different things. And I'm not talking to you personally.
I'm talking
like myself, though. Because I do the same thing.
I will say right now, at this point in his life,
I'm locked in. I haven't started a new thing in forever.
I will say that this might be the one time in your life that I'm like, all right, his priorities are correct. Like the amount of effort per what you're doing is correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That like I think that's the entrepreneur's dilemma. If you're the type of personality that is like, I'm gonna go get everything.
Yeah.
You low key end up trying to go get everything, and that's how you get nothing.
Yeah.
And so like that was me for a while. Like even
And somehow you still got something.
and somehow I made it all fucking work out.
Somehow.
You know. So like
That's why even then.
but I sacrificed a lot of mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of friendships, like a lot. I gave up a lot to make
Yeah.
that shit happen. So,
Well, let's talk about mental health. What do you do now to make sure it stays in check?
I'd say I have like, friends. Friends is number one, right? Being around people that you love
Yeah.
and that care about you. Family, being more open with my mom about shit when I'm struggling, because I really only got like my mom and my brother, right? So like talking to them more often.
You close to your mom?
Yeah, I'm close, and like making sure that they're Why you trying to make me cry?
I'm not, man. I'm just asking a question.
I've seen these devious looks.
I'm just asking a question.
Right,
I genuinely asked the
We gotta
question.
go viral a different way. I'm tired of crying on the fucking camera.
Come on, get some onions out or something.
But fuck, what was I saying?
You're close to your mom, your brother.
Yeah. So keeping family close and updated with your mental, and then 2, physical health is number 1, I think, for mental health. So
100%.
like, obviously, but I've always been disciplined on physical health. But like certain things, like drink, I was drinking a lot. So like I drink a lot less now, which fucking has like a compound effect for how good I feel mentally and physically. And
I'm telling you, this is the golden era of Wootak, I think.
Yeah.
The beginning.
yeah, and then and I think also like just being kind, like being nice to other people helps you feel better. Strangely.
I think that's a big one, right? When you're feeling down in the dumps, like you should just go and try to find somebody to help out with whatever they're doing or give them a compliment. You will feel better that day. At least you feel like you accomplished something that day.
Yeah.
You know what I
And,
mean? Versus the
and
opposite.
as I say that, it kind of, damn, like some of the people that were the most kind to others were like suicidally depressed in my life. You know what I mean? And it's
Really?
like, wow, that makes sense. Like you were just trying so desperately to like feel
Yeah.
better.
You can't fix yourself. You go try to fix someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Fuck.
the part of awareness with relationships.
Yeah.
Don't be going through a relationship when you're feeling down in the dumps, trying to
Yeah.
try to fix somebody else.
Everybody has to be like some level of.
That's me. I feel like I'm Captain Save-A-Ho. So like I feel like I can only date women that are fucking extremely troubled.
Shoo-hoo-hoo.
I'm literally. Am I not Captain Save-A-Ho?
Well, I don't know if a lot of them were hoes.
Okay, yeah. Ho is the wrong word. Captain Save-A Psycho.
Save a
Yes.
woman.
Yeah.
Honestly, we call
Save
you
a
Captain,
troubled-
Captain Save a Latina is what you want to do.
You like Spanish women?
I love Spanish.
Do Spanish women like Koreans?
Me?
right now, yes.
I think that they
Yes.
do. Koreans are very popular right now in general, but
I feel like you guys, the men are fetishized a little
It's
bit.
low key.
yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
this is how I've
I'm all
always
for
viewed
it.
it.
Keep
I
it
was gonna
up.
say you're not mad about
Look,
it.
Keep it up.
The Koreans like people who, the Asians like people who work hard, and us Mexicans, we work hard. So the
Yeah.
relationship is almost symbiotic. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. A different type of work, but yeah, work nonetheless.
Well, you gotta have brains. If you have just a mule, the mule can't do no work.
That's
you know?
crazy to
That's so
refer to
crazy
yourself
to
as a
say,
mule.
bro. That's so nuts.
After a while, I'm like, Joe, you're just a mule. Take some brains. Get some
So
direction.
find a Korean woman, bro. What are you doing?
They don't want.
They do want him. He just get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I've been in like party scenarios with Joe where like a pretty girl will come up to me and be like, "Who's your friend?"
Bro.
I'm like, "Who?" And I look at Joe. I'm like, "That one?"
Bro.
I'm like, "Come over here right now."
As soon as that
What
happens,
does he do? What does he do?
It's like
Fucking
you threw
fumbles
water
it.
on a computer, bro. I go, what?
No,
It's
really?
It's just watching the biggest fumble of all time. I'm like, damn. There's never been a more free like.
Nah, wait, but let's not put that into existence. That ends right now. The
Yeah,
next
yeah.
girl that you get brought, you're not fumbling. Because you can't start saying that to yourself.
No, it's not. I never say that to myself. I never.
What do you think you come off too strong?
I think he comes off not at all.
I don't not at all. Yeah. Bro, it's just,
You're really pretty.
no, not
you're gorgeous.
No, yeah.
Yeah, if he could talk to girls how he talks to us,
He flirts with me crazy.
bro, he would bag so crazy. How you doing, sweetheart?
Yo, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Come walk this way, sweetheart. Could
Yeah,
give you the
man, you're
world.
6'1", he's got hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm
what
saying.
What the fuck, imagine?
Like it's like, and so like obviously like, you know, girls are interested into him because he has this like personality and like he's tall and like he's got gray hair, he's good looking. But then the second he opens his mouth with a woman, it's like a different Joe.
Yeah.
Really?
Listen,
I haven't seen it yet.
Listen, there's always the first version of Joe that you get, right? I'm
Yeah.
very scared, okay? I have like
That's
a lot
trauma?
of probably I'll just say whatever, and it's gotten me in trouble so many times that whenever I meet people, it always stems back to, "Hi, how are you?"
Even though
How you doing?
that was good, man.
Yeah.
He completely changes his
All right,
voice.
we gotta break
it's
you
like,
out of that
I've
shell.
always been the type where you gotta let me warm up, and then by the time I'm warm, you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
But that means that when you do find the right one, it's gonna be special.
Yeah. That's it's
You'll find her.
you don't know why I say, oh, you didn't know about me.
That's so. Yo, I love.
I
when he
leave it
says
like that
That's just
because
so funny.
it's like you're
Girls
not
like that
gonna
because then
know.
they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what else do I have to know about?
Yeah.
What about you, John? What's your love life?
I was about to
like?
ask you the same question, man.
Hold
No,
on,
I want
let's
to know
turn-
about you first. Yeah.
It's not about
This
you.
isn't about me.
This is your show.
This isn't.
And I don't know nothing about your dating
This
life.
isn't about me.
How's that been for you?
You want to know something crazy? I'm actually going. Oh, I can't say it. I'll say it off camera.
Okay.
Actually, I can probably say it. No, it won't be aired. I'm going tomorrow. There's a show called Hot and Single, and this girl reached out. She like, it's funny as shit. She's hilarious. My girl's name is Steph. She does it in the city. Does like street interviews. Like, why are you single as a guy? Guys say dumbass things. She's like, gives these funny ass reactions. She asked me, hey, can you do the show Wednesday at this time? And I was like, oh no, I can't. I have a tattoo appointment. She's like, are you sure you can't do the show? I have a special guest coming. And I was like, yeah, I really can't. I have this thing booked. The next day she texted me, she's like, my special guest is Dua Lipa. Like, can you please come? And I was like, yeah, just cancel my appointment.
Oh my God. I'm canceling that shit immediately.
So tomorrow I have to go on and have Dua Lipa tell me why I'm still single.
What?
Yeah.
That's
That's
fire.
what I think. I think the dynamic is that her and Dua are gonna like ask me the questions like,
Yeah.
you're single. Why do you think you're single? What questions do you have for us? Type of thing. So who knows?
Bro, that's fire.
Wootak's like, let me cancel my flight. Get me on there.
She need a second guy?
I don't know what to say. I'm getting nervous.
Bro, I would be nervous.
Yo,
as shit
right?
in front of Dua Lipa.
Well, that's why she didn't want to tell me. She didn't want to like ruin the surprise for me.
Yeah. But then she was like, cancel your fucking tattoo
But
appointment.
swear to God, if she didn't say the name, I probably wouldn't have known who it was.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like geeking over Dua Lipa.
Really?
No.
She's beautiful.
Not saying she's not, but I never like looked at her and like gawked over like her stuff or her music.
This man don't deserve you.
But maybe that's better for us to be like on the same playing field.
Yeah. That
Maybe
is
we'll
better.
really hit it
Because
off.
if you do start like idolizing, you fumble. What'd you say?
Maybe we'll hit it off. I don't know.
hope
Maybe
you do.
I'm gonna go like so like are we dating now? She's
Yeah.
like, this was not the show. I'm not on here for you.
I want that for you so I can live through you.
Can you imagine this guy over here? Really? Well, anyway, I mean, we could probably relate in like my dating life is very interesting. It's very different. I don't go on dates necessarily, and I'm not saying that in a pretentious way. I just like to say I don't have time for it. Again, it sounds super pretentious, but it's just I don't. Like on a Wednesday night, if I have nothing to do, let me catch up on some sleep and go to bed. You know what I mean? I'm not going on a date. It's another day to have to drink, right? And like we just said, we want to diminish the nights that we're drinking.
Yep.
It's probably not going to amount to anything because I'm not in that mode to foster a relationship. Relationships take a lot of time to build and grow. So if I know I'm mentally not there, I'm wasting everybody's time to what?
Yup.
Sleep with a girl or something or get to know her a little bit and then have it go nowhere? I don't know.
Totally agree, man.
It's tough for me, but at the same time, like I'm not complaining because I have a very
You have a very what? You have a very nice lifestyle.
Yeah,
there,
listen,
buddy?
I'm having a good time, bro. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy myself. I have great.
Look at this
I have
man's
great people.
forearms.
Great people.
Imagine his dating life with these forearms.
I have great people around me, you know.
Yeah.
So like I have great friends, girls and guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm kind of like good, which means that it would have to be something crazy to impact me and be like, all right, let me change everything now.
Yeah.
I've had girls
Dua Lipa.
as of recent that have like impacted my life and have given me like that safety net of I'm good, which has probably kept me away from dating. You know what I mean? If her and I are doing whatever and we check those boxes off for each other, why do I need to go?
So casually dating.
I think
You
you
know.
said it, bro. You're like, if the stomach's full, you're not hungry.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, that's a fucking bar.
If the stomach's full, you're not hungry. And I think that's the biggest problem with like, if you're I'm not a cheater, so I would never go out and date a girl if I know I'm not done exploring
being
other
a thought.
options. I didn't say that. I said
Say-
explore.
say it like
I said
it is,
exploring.
John.
I said exploring other options. You know,
But-
that's true though. Like, how could you go and look and give your all to a girl when you kind of feel like you're good?
Yeah. And that's something that I've come to realize as well. I felt like I was very much in the there's just too much right now for me to like settle down. But then I'm like, I do want to settle down one day. And I think that if I keep indulging in every fun opportunity that comes by, every single one slightly closes my ability to commit to one person.
All right. I think in the moment, long term, no. I don't
Really?
think experiencing multiple women in like your past is going to impact your ability to find one person.
I really
You want me to
I don't
give
think
you-
it's diminishing. I don't think it is.
I'll give you the statistic.
That what? Men that sleep with
And I
women?
say
think, and you know,
Don't say
Yeah,
it.
don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it
Say it.
because I'm fucked, but y'all's is fucked.
wait, why?
So after 10,
Stop.
your
stop.
ability to form a real relationship is toast.
But I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either.
Because if I believe it, then I'm fucked. But like, you know, like, so if I don't believe it,
I'm
then
forced to not believe it. I can't believe it.
Oh my god.
It's the fucking.
No, because here's the thing. I will say.
to know it though,
No,
and then
no.
to go against it, to correct it now.
Stop.
Because
Okay,
you're always gonna want to fuck.
Yes.
Like I've never seen a demission in a man. It's always a choice to be loyal and a choice to be
Hey,
in
point
love.
the mic at your mouth.
Yeah, bro.
It's always a choice to be loyal and choice to
Yeah.
be in love. So if you're always saying like, "Oh, I'm not done right now because my stomach is full," you're never gonna be done.
That's
okay.
the feeling I get.
I
Because listen,
feel, okay, I will agree. I will agree.
I
with that.
get worried because I see motherfuckers in their 40s still acting like fuckboys,
Bro,
bro.
in the restaurant
Not
industry
happy.
specifically, it was like you think
Yeah.
corporate is bad.
Bro,
Restaurant
They
is
made that
crazy,
decision
bro.
though. They said to themselves, "I'm gonna be unfaithful for
of
my
course,
whole
I
life."
agree, and I'm not saying that that's like you're doomed to be like a cheater. But what I'm saying is that like I don't know if they want to be the way they are, you know, like, and I feel like a lot of people get caught up in like a habit. They get an appetite that one woman can never fucking like satisfy, and that's kind of like where I've been with like slowing. Like I went celibate for a while. Now not, but like I am trying to. Hey man,
Wait. He was
A
doing.
week?
Listen,
How long?
He was.
I was on that shit.
He
How
was
long?
doing good, bro.
I don't know how long. Maybe like 2 months.
Okay. Oh, that's actually that's
That's pretty good.
a long time.
That's what I'm
him,
saying.
that's
Were
very
you
good.
Choking the chicken? No. I
None.
was pretty good about that.
2 months.
After he did the ayahuasca shit, bro, this motherfucker was scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
I remember that you
Yeah.
came. You were here You were here like the next day, and you said you were going celibate.
Yeah.
Did you notice that impacted anything?
Yeah. And now I'm in like a state where like I do have sex sometimes, but like I only like I need to be like slightly emotionally connected. Like I need to have like a reason to want to be with you beyond the lust, you know? And that's what it was. Like back in the day, it's just like you're bad, you want to fuck, like let's fuck. And then that would just be bad for me, you know? And it's just like I no longer want to engage in like lustful activity like that, you know?
Right.
And because I want to like gear my brain to be ready for a long-term partner, have a bunch of beautiful babies, et cetera, et cetera.
So let me ask you, because again, you brought up the point where any body count after 10, which is crazy, it'll start diminishing your ability
is this,
to
a
love.
Mormon
That's
fucking boot
crazy.
camp?
I mean,
But, hold on.
I've seen it other ways, but then
Well,
even the same guys, the same guys, they're still like, if I know, I'm not gonna say who. I know I put the right woman in front of you and say, hey, that's all you. They're donezo.
That's my
They're
point.
donezo.
So my point, and I was going to ask you the question: has there been a girl that even now in your stage of life of been through however many women? What is your body count? By the way? I'm kidding. That would stop you in your tracks. Have you ever had that?
I said since my last girlfriend in 2019, there's been 3 girls that I've dated that I got close to a relationship with.
See, and you're not a cheater.
And but like that was I was not exclusively dating them.
Oh,
That was like mutually understood, obviously. But
This guy got a. Never mind.
listen, okay. Also, like these 3 things also ended in tragedy every time. So like it wasn't like
every time.
yeah, every time, and it wasn't like I went into this. Yeah. I don't even know. Like I think I'm just bad at picking women. Like 1,000,000%. Like I have realized like what gets me excited and what makes me feel like that spark or like that chemistry with girls is because I'm a deeply traumatized individual that I find and only connect with other deeply traumatized individuals. But a lot of them are not doing the work that I'm trying to do to fix that. And they're just being ran by their traumas.
Yeah.
And then I'm like soul bonding with them. And like basically just like we're just creating like exponential trauma.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking whack. And so yeah, it just blows up always.
Well, that's at my ripe old age of 28. I've realized that finding women that have good relationships with their parents
Important.
is super important. Because in the beginning, like mid-20s, you're looking for the girls that don't, which is really fucked up to say. Because they're like they come with a little bit of like a spark. They need fixing. Everybody likes to fix somebody else out.
Yeah.
And then you realize like I'm old. I'm tired of this bullshit. I don't want to
so
have to fix
tired,
somebody
dog.
and have to worry about them not having the same morals or ethics that I do.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man, I've met some perfect women, like extremely healthy, wants the best for me, like fucking feminine, like everything that textbook I say I want, and then I just don't like, and they're like ready to commit, right? And it's like I've been in that situation a few times now, probably like 2 or 3 times, and I just don't feel that desire with them as I do for these women that are so clearly bad for me in every single way possible. And so I'm like, I'm a fucking, what is it, masochist? Like somebody that loves pain.
But that's what it is, bro. You're looking for feeling when
exactly.
I always keep reminding myself of this, bro. You're looking for feeling, but love is a choice.
Yeah.
Love is a choice.
Love is a choice with anybody, like your friends, family, girls. It doesn't matter who it is. You could choose. You have to choose to love somebody based on like, all right, I know this person is best for me. It's not. And honestly, I'm sure you've experienced this too, where you go for the girl you thought you could never get. You're so like wooed over her. You think about her all the time, and then as soon as you feel like she's falling for you, those feelings towards her start to diminish a little bit, and it's like a scary feeling. It's almost depressing. Where it's like, why can't I have my cake and eat it too? You know what I mean? I want to feel the same way and I want this girl to like me, but it's like, it goes like this.
I think that feeling is exactly the fucking curse of like the loose lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
That's for sure.
Because it is like you get so used to just having only the best part of a relationship, which is that exciting chase in the beginning, right? Where you're both like really flirting super hard, like everyone's all over each other. And then the second that shit starts to get comfortable and shit starts to get real and you got to like open up to them and shit. And then you're like, oh fuck, like this is now getting difficult.
Yeah,
let me just go start over.
Well, like, you know, exactly.
And that's the curse of, I think, too many partners is like you get so used to having your cake and eating it too. Like all my relationships can be perfect. I just need to restart it every time.
And I'm good.
But honestly, 10 might even be too much, bro. Once you,
all right,
stay honest. Once you get the cake, bro. But you have the cake, and that's what you should in theory. You should get married and then get the cake.
Okay, but fair enough. I think right now, like in our lives, I would never. If I found the right girl and I've had that feeling before, I would never turn back and be like, man, I miss those days of whoring it up. Not that I would ever do that, but it doesn't even. I almost slipped right there. That was crazy. But it's so shallow. I've never walked away from a one night stand again. Not something I've ever really done. Maybe a couple times, feeling really good. In fact, I felt so. I reflect and I'm like, man, it probably feels great to find a traditional girl that has a great family, that has great morals, wants to be my wife. Yeah. And wake up with her and feel confident that I have no drama. I'm not gonna worry about another girl finding out or her having baggage or me feeling guilty. Like that's it. I'm good. That feeling is probably. I watch my cousin and his girl, and I'm like, man,
piped.
When's it my turn?
When's it my turn?
Bro, trust me, same. I'm fucking. Every time I see a happy relationship, I'm like, damn, when's it my turn? And then God gives me 7 opportunities to make it my turn, and I'm like, nah, not those though.
You see, there's like a slideshow. There was like a dude. He's just like, God, take her out of my life, and God's like, got you, bet. And he's like, why'd you did that? And Jesus like, huh? I told this is what you wanted, no?
That's literally how it is. But that's the thing too. I think you got to be looking for it. You know, you got to be very open. But it comes back to when you start to like self-reflect and really find what aligns with who you are as a person, what you admire out of other people, right? Growing up, I always admired guys that had success, had money, drove nice cars, wore nice clothing, had a presence when they walked in the room. But the biggest thing was always that he was loyal to his wife and loved his kids. I didn't care when you're 40 years old, 45 years old, and you're banging 20-year-olds. I thought that was disgusting. I never thought that was cool. I never looked up to you. Yeah. My friends might have. Like, you're still partying in the club and shit. I thought that was the wackest thing ever because you're caving to the easiest thing to cave to, which is pussy. Like, that doesn't take a skill to go and get ass at this point.
You're existing on your lowest vibrational point.
Exactly.
And it's not. I totally fucking agree with you. And I've noticed that of all the dudes that I do look up to is that those same is loyalty to wife. Like, that's such a big one. And then like I hear people say like the thing like, oh, how can you trust like a guy that cheats on his wife if he can do that to his wife? Like, what can he do to you?
Exactly.
It is a thought, you know. And
it's definitely a thought.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always admired about my dad. You know, because you never really know. But I was a caddy at the country club and I knew who was cheating on who because you would hear it. Yeah. And I knew my dad was. I knew he wasn't going out to the places that they would go do things or whatever. And every guy that I spoke to would always say that to me. You know, one thing I always respect about your dad is he never fucks up with your wife or with his wife. You know what I mean? Yeah, with my wife. Yeah. But he's always loyal to your mom. He treats you guys. He always talk, and he never. This is the biggest thing. My dad never goes and talks shit about my mom to any other guy. Yeah, doesn't do any
vice
good.
versa too, right?
Vice versa, exactly. Dude, that's just how they are.
You know, and your dad is actually a good example of that because he is somebody I also look up to for those reasons. But and it reflects in his children, bro. And that's what I mean by like. the life I want. Everyone wants to have kids that grow up to make you proud, right? Like that's a fucking, if you want kids, you want them to one day be better than you or like make you proud in some way, right? And then when I look at his kids, right, I'm like, I've met your family many times now, and I'm like, bro, everyone's so good. Like everyone's so like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, and it shows because it's relationship, mom and dad, and then it trickles down.
Right.
Like people that come from broken families, like the statistics on like a fatherless household, like the fucking crime rates, like how like the college dropout, like everything bad like goes up, right? So it's like, but just because your parents stay together doesn't mean that's a good thing either if your dad's constantly displaying like infidelity or like whatever. So yeah, and then it kind of reflects in how the children come out.
Yeah.
I was blessed with that. I was blessed with seeing a dad be a genuine father and husband and never really cave to going out and, like you said, infidelity. And I never felt that need. Once I'm locked into a girl, I would never go and even look for, you know, I would be so good with having one.
Let's go find wives together.
I think this is our moment, man. If you're out there, please.
This is our year.
I think 24. I think it's my year.
We're getting married. We're getting a joint marriage.
Okay,
we're having a joint wedding.
Hell yeah. And you're the officiant.
Sounds like you two will get married.
Yo, listen, man, that's what it has to come down to, man.
I'm left out.
He's an American citizen. I'm gonna get some papers finally.
Yo, he's gonna use me? That's why he doesn't use you yet, bro.
I tried so many times.
You guys haven't gotten married.
He don't got bread like you, you know?
Damn, bro. He will soon. He's fucking taking all my cash. He was expensive out here. Oh man, well, this is fun, man. I'm glad you came. We wanted to ask you a couple questions about dating life in New York City. If you have like high level basic dating advice for people in New York, where are you going?
Oof. Like where am I taking them?
Yeah, like give us like a first date. You're in the area, the whole rigmarole. Are you going a couple different places? You got one place in mind?
Definitely a couple different places. It keeps it fun, right? So this is my thesis on first dates in general, wherever you are. The best first date, if you drink alcohol, includes alcohol. Obviously not getting drunk, you don't need to do that, but first dates are nerve-wracking for both you and the other person. Alcohol, literally, it's one use case scenario where it benefits you is social lubricant, right? So don't take them to a shitty dive bar and get drunk off of drinks that taste like shit. Take them to a nice cocktail bar. Because one, it's a high-class environment, but it's not as expensive as dinner. And plus, first dates are nerve-wracking because what if you don't like them, right? You want to be able to leave. But if you're locked into a 2-hour dinner, you're not fucking leaving until the food is done, at least, right? So cocktail bars, you can leave at any point after whatever cocktail. You realize that they just, you just don't align with them. So it's like serious enough to be taken seriously where you're like spending enough on the girl for her to feel like respected. And then two, it's casual enough that you guys are going to get to know each other. There's no shoving food in your mouth in the middle of getting to know each other, which is very whack on a first date. I'm super against dinners. And a lot of people out there will be like, oh, take her to a Dave and Buster's or a mini golf. Don't do that fucking shit. You're not in high school anymore. A first date is for the purpose of getting to know the other person. Don't hide behind your activity because you'll notice after a first date of mini golf, you talked about fucking mini golf 80% of the time. You don't know shit about this person. That was a waste of a first date. It was a waste of your money. It was a waste of your time. It was a waste of their time. Don't do that shit. Take her to a nice speakeasy where the focus is you guys, right? And then everyone's like, oh, but then it'll only be about us and I'm awkward and blah, blah, blah. That's why you go to a speakeasy and you make sure you sit at the bar. Because when you sit at the bar, high-end cocktail bars, bartenders are well-trained. They're there to entertain you as well as serve you. So having the bartender right there who's very good at his job, that's entertainment. You get to watch him. You get to comment on it. You get to interact with them. They're always going to be sociable and good at their job because they're working at like a high-end place. So that gives you like that little break of when you need to like do something else to like throw off the awkward silence. You get to like talk to this random bartender who's going to tell you about the fucking liquor he used in his drink and blah, 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 and how long the syrup took to make and what a sous vide is and all that shit. And then, and that's fun.
You were waiting for us to ask that question. That was crazy.
I just said that shit 4 or 5 times.
Well, we're clipping that. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a great point. I couldn't have said it better, so I'm not going to even comment on it. Give us a couple spots specifically in the city that you go to.
In New York City? Apotheke.
No. Cut that. Bleep it, please.
Why?
It's already a bitch to get in there.
Apotheke. Ye's Apothecary is like a new spot. I haven't been yet, but it looks fire. I just went to Patent Pending last night. Dark, sexy, cool.
With a girl?
No, with Eddie and my brother.
Oh, I saw that. First of all, why is he not? I told Eddie to come today.
I know. I told him to come too, actually. He's a bum.
He's so whack.
He's so whack. So whack.
And he's a little slut now too.
Yeah,
It's
he's
crazy.
a little fucking. No, he has a girlfriend now, so let's not say.
Oh, never mind.
I thought you said he
Definitely
was
didn't used to be a slut.
I thought you said he was a
he's-
little slow. I'm like, that's so mean.
Nah. He's my boy. I love Eddie so much.
Do be a little slow sometimes.
Yeah, that's all right.
But Ye's Apothecary. This place called Rock, ROKC, is a Japanese ramen bar and cocktails.
Oh.
Super good for both. Because ramen is like a casual food. They also serve oysters. So if you want to just go for the cocktails, great, like high level cocktails. And like you can just do oysters with the cocktails. You know what I mean? So you're not like eating full meals, like slurping noodles in front of your first date. You just have some sexy little oysters. Pay for $25 drinks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The New York City cocktail prices are crazy.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Rain's Law Room. That's another one. That's a good one.
I forgot where I told you to go in Jersey City. You remember?
Yeah, I forget, but that was a good spot too.
Yeah.
Doughboy? Did you go to Doughboy? Where'd you go?
Nah, it's like
remember.
a speakeasy. It was like themed after like the fuck is this guy name?
Oh, downstairs? Did you walk downstairs?
No, that's another one. This one was more like old. It was like a Benjamin Franklin type vibe.
That's cool though. I see. Like it's funny enough. Like I don't do any of that. Like dates or no dates. I don't go and try like crazy interesting speakeasy in JC or Hoboken. Like I should start.
Dude, do that shit. It's good research for videos.
Research.
You're like,
Alright.
that's what I call it. I put it on the company card.
Yeah.
R&D.
That's my favorite part about working for biochemistry. We gotta have a meeting at 2:00 in the morning at Raku. I'm like, oh yeah, all right.
I gotta start going on dates now just for doing research. All right, I gotta find some women. Well, we do end every podcast with asking a pretty deep question.
Okay.
So you ready for it? Let's
Yes, I'm ready.
switch gears a little bit because that was a fun question.
You're right.
Everything in life, right, doesn't have to do with bar chemistry. It could be anything. What has been the lowest of your lows? And let's follow that up with what has been the highest of your highs.
That's a pretty deep question. Lowest of my lows, damn. I have hit many lows, I feel like. I have been through a lot of lows. I don't want to share my recent lowest low. So I'd say like maybe when I first watched my mom faint in the courtroom when I was being put away to juvie. That was an extremely low point of my life. And I was 12. And then highest of my highs might be the day that I had that anxiety attack as I was blowing up on social media. I think another one is like any one of these like under the influence parties that we throw where I'm just on stage like as if I'm some fucking musician or something and everyone's there to see us except we're not singing or we have no talent. We're just getting fucking hammered with them.
Are they fun?
He's never been.
Oh, no,
you
neither
need
have I.
to come.
So I
you
wouldn't
need
know
to
either.
come. You guys don't come to fucking LA. You would fucking immediately be there.
The highest of his highs.
We're throwing one in New York, and trust me, you'll be right on that.
The
fucking
highest of his
stage
highs
with
we
us.
have
I really thought it was meeting me, but I guess not.
That's crazy. No, but that sounds awesome.
Meeting you was lackluster. I didn't know you was about to be my best friend when I met you.
Oh, it was progressive.
I knew.
It was
I knew.
well, that's awesome. I am definitely coming to the one in when is it going to be?
We don't have it planned, but I'm pushing to make sure we do one in New York.
It's been supposed to
there.
happen for a very long time.
I'm
It's
gonna
very
say I'm
reliant on,
waiting.
like, necklaces,
I'm
like,
waiting,
watches
and I'm gonna be
and
on
shit.
stage too.
You will.
Throwing
You're gonna be
ass.
shirtless. You're gonna be shirtless.
Throwing ass
I'm
and nectar.
stripping you the second you get on that
Yo,
stage.
no.
You gotta get a
nervous.
nectar tattoo though.
Dead ass.
Yeah, on your neck.
Yeah.
I am an investor in Nectar. I don't know if you knew that.
What?
I got skin in the game in Nectar.
What? Oh, yeah, I know. I know that. Hell
So
yeah.
I'll get one on my ass.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Whoa,
fucking
ass.
good.
Wait, we got crazy.
We'll talk about that on camera, off camera.
John
Well, I
will be up
appreciate
there
you, bro.
and,
Listen,
yeah.
I've known you for how long? 3-4 years, and
Yeah,
it's
you're
so
probably
great to
my
watch
first
you.
creator friend. Yeah.
It is. It's great to watch you grow and progress as a creator, as a
Yeah.
person, to get to know you a little bit more. I've met Joe through you, and I appreciate you guys. I really do.
We
And thank you for
appreciate
coming
you,
on.
man.
I remember we'll start this shit right back up. Just new episode part 2.
Listen,
I remember meeting you, bro.
We
It
may
was
need
very-
one. Well, but we'll cut it there. We may need an episode
I
part
wasn't
2.
even working really for him at the time. I've always been around, but he's like, "Come over. I'm going to." There are times just like you gotta go, blah blah.
He loved it, huh? He
And
fell
I
in
was
love.
like,
He was calling my dad first day. I met him.
Yeah, I remember that.
That shit was so funny, bro.
What does your dad think of him calling him dad?
I still
he
do
loved
it.
it. He still
I
does.
still do it.
He still
That's
does. And my
hilarious.
dad treats him like a son.
Yeah.
So that's
It
for
feels
better
nice.
for better for worse.
That's
Well, that's
cute
it.
as fuck.
That's it for today, everybody. Like, subscribe, share all the good stuff. Cheers.
Love you guys. Peace.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.